Another earnings week for Strategy, and it's all but guaranteed to be a nothing burger. The numbers will be massive, but I don't think they'll move the stock, because until Bitcoin itself makes a real move, Wall Street won't. So today, let's talk about why I think this quarter's earnings call is going to be more of the same, and what actually needs to happen to change that. Before we dive in, if you're enjoying my videos, hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Remember, this is financial entertainment, not financial advice, and all thoughts are my own. All right, let's break it down. I still think Strategy is fundamentally misunderstood. It isn't a tech stock that happens to hold Bitcoin. It's the first functioning Bitcoin operating company. That's the distinction that matters, but it's being drowned out by the same refrain across every thread. Why should Bitcoin Treasuries trade at a premium? That's the sentiment driving this whole setup into Q3. The market looks at Strategy's $70 billion Bitcoin stack, runs the math, and asks, why pay more than the value of the Bitcoin itself? It's a fair point, but it also completely misses what makes Strategy unique. They've built a functioning corporate structure around Bitcoin, debt management, capital access, and a publicly listed bridge into the asset. That used to impress investors. Now it's treated as expected, even ordinary. We saw that shift last quarter. Going into Q2, the hype was enormous. The call was packed with influencers, social media personalities, and it marked the first ever GAAP profitable quarter under fair value accounting. A symbolic moment years in the making. And yet, nothing happened. The stock ticked higher for a moment, then sold off. That was the point where the market effectively said, we get it, you hold Bitcoin. Show us something new. So heading into Q3, there's no reason to expect fireworks. The earnings will be massive, but nobody's going to be bewildered, because the story's already known. Bitcoin drives the balance sheet drives the earnings, and until Bitcoin itself breaks out, nothing else will move sentiment. Sentiment isn't just weak, it's broken. It's the lowest it's been in years. 6 months of sideways Bitcoin price action, false breakouts, and a stock that's punished every optimist has drained confidence across the board. Retail has checked out. Institutions aren't bidding the stock up. They're watching and waiting. What we're left with is exhaustion. The narrative has shifted from conviction to opportunity cost. Everyone wants instant results, and right now, AI, energy, and miners are delivering them. Capital that once chased asymmetric, long-term exposure through Strategy is elsewhere, with faster-moving, higher beta stories. That shift isn't about fundamentals only, it's about attention too. And it's attention that Bitcoin treasuries have completely lost. These companies are still proving their models quarter after quarter, but the market's focus has evaporated. It's not that the fundamentals are weak, it's that the story no longer feels urgent. Until Bitcoin itself makes a decisive move, that dynamic won't change. Because right now, the narrative is that NAV premiums will never expand again, that this is as good as it gets for Bitcoin treasuries, and that belief alone is what's keeping the entire sector pinned down. Here's the irony. The fundamentals have never been stronger. Strategy now holds over 640,000 Bitcoin, worth roughly $70 billion. They've secured an S&P credit rating, extended their funding runway well into the next decade, and shown they can consistently access capital markets in any environment. That's not recklessness, that's mastery. It's why I still find it hard to be bearish on Saylor or the company. The business model works. They've built a balance sheet that compounds Bitcoin exposure while steadily lowering financial risk. Each cycle, they raise capital more efficiently, shifting from converts to preferreds to ever smarter funding structures. It's quietly one of the most effective balance sheet evolutions in corporate history. But that success has created a paradox. Strategy's dominance has made it harder for investors to imagine growth. They've already won the race for corporate Bitcoin leadership, and Wall Street doesn't know how to value that. The market keeps asking what's next, but that question misses the point. The next act isn't about stacking faster, it's about monetizing leadership. What's holding the stock back isn't execution, it's imagination. The idea that a Bitcoin treasury doesn't deserve a premium has become consensus, and that disbelief is what's crushing sentiment. But here's what the market keeps missing. Saylor isn't sitting on a pile of Bitcoin hoping for price appreciation. He's building the corporate rails to monetize Bitcoin at scale without ever selling it. Convertibles, preferreds, credit ratings, they're all steps towards turning Bitcoin into productive corporate capital. That's what separates Strategy from every other business. They're not just exposed to Bitcoin, they're engineering around it. And if there's one thing Saylor has proven, it's that he'll find a way to make that stack work harder every cycle. It's just that right now patience doesn't trend, and this market's addicted to dopamine. So here's what I expect this time. The numbers will look incredible. Saylor will sound steady, confident, deliberate, and the market will probably shrug. Even if this quarter feels irrelevant, it still matters. Every quiet report adds credibility to the model. Every billion in profit that nobody cheers makes the case stronger that this model actually works. Strategies proving, quarter after quarter, that a Bitcoin balance sheet can function through every phase, hype, silence, and despair. So, yes, sentiment's awful, AI is stealing the spotlight, and everyone wants quick wins. And when Bitcoin finally moves, whether that's next month or next year, this will be the company leading from the front, not scrambling to catch up. If there's one thing that could break the current pattern, it won't be another earnings beat, it'll be structural change. For me, it has to be a significant move in Bitcoin or something like S&P 500 inclusion. That's what shifts perception, not another quarter of massive but predictable Bitcoin profits. Until then, it's about continued execution, rolling out preferreds, and quietly strengthening its foundation. So that's my view heading into Q3 earnings tomorrow. The numbers will be huge. The reaction will be minimal, and sentiment will stay terrible, and until either Bitcoin breaks out or a structural shift forces Wall Street to reprice the story. That doesn't make me bearish. It's just being realistic about where we are today. The fundamentals are still getting stronger, the conviction hasn't changed, and long-term, I think, strategy grows into one of the largest companies in the world. Right now, we're just waiting for the next real catalyst. When it comes, sentiment will flip fast, but until then, it's quiet conviction and steady execution. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, hit like, subscribe, and share. It really helps support the channel. And for those of you who want to go deeper into Bitcoin Treasuries, check out Sovereign 21, the world's first private investor club for Bitcoiners focused on Bitcoin Treasury companies and Bitcoin native businesses. Members get exclusive access to real investment opportunities, a monthly research report covering Bitcoin treasuries and the wider macro environment, and private peer-to-peer networking with serious investors and high-net-worth individuals. There are monthly roundtable calls to share ideas and investment theses, plus guest sessions with CEOs, CFOs, and analysts from across the industry. As the network grows, so does its reach, with the goal of opening doors to private placements, syndicates, and early-stage Bitcoin business opportunities. If that sounds like your lane, check out Sovereign 21. Links are in the description below. Thanks again for watching,